yananai, 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 oh, yananai, 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 oh. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So nice to be together on this beautiful Shabbat. It is especially nice this Shabbat because it is the last Shabbat where we will have a clergy team where some of us are in the penalty box, as it were, or on vacation. So I hope you have enjoyed having only one clergy, because when there are three of us, wowzers. But we are so grateful to be joined by members of our band, David and Kate and Mila and Lou, and we are especially grateful to welcome one of our newest members of Beth Israel, Judy Grant, who's going to be playing piano for us tonight. Some of you may know her from just being on the town. No? Too much? Not enough? Come back soon, Rabbi Navarez. And we're also incredibly blessed to have Danny Myers joining us in leading us in song and prayer. This has been a strange week in many ways, and I'll be speaking more about it later. But there is something really beautiful that happens when we come together as a community, because we may have come from very different things. We have come from very different things this week. Perhaps we've celebrated incredible milestones. Perhaps we've been processing life's most difficult challenges. And yet, here we are. When the world is about to crush me with all of its weight, I find safety here. When people have been too cruel because of their ignorance, I find compassion here. When my government tries to silence me, I find my voice here. When I feel a sense of helplessness during these uncertain times, I find my peace here. When I am lost and tossed about in the day-to-day maze of activity, I find direction here. When loneliness slowly creeps into my life like the evening mist, I find community here. When I feel isolated at times, I find comfort here. When friends seem nowhere to be found in the daily grind, I find good friends here. When I sometimes lose sight of what I can do for the community here, I find purpose here. When I feel that my family is scattered hundreds of miles away, I find the nearness of family here. When the cacophony outside is too much and I need to be soothed, I find beautiful music here. When I run around and take the simple things for granted, I find meaning here. When I am gone and have left only my name, I know that I will be remembered here. When what I need most of all is Shabbat, I find Shabbat here. Here in this magnificent place, we are incredibly blessed to have had generations of leaders leading our community. And so if there are any past presidents and their spouses in our congregation this evening, I'm only seeing one. Gary Hirschfeld, if you and Tracy could come up and help honor us by lighting the Shabbat candles. Our blessing can be found on page 2.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu Lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
As we have brought the Shabbat light into our hearts, I invite you to turn to those around you, introduce yourself, wish them a Shabbat Shalom. If you don't know them, share a fun fact maybe. Shabbat Shalom. I saw you and Joseph. One of the 3 times. And we also want to offer a welcome to all those who are joining us online. So if we could turn to our camera in the back. Shabbat Shalom to all of you, whether you're tuning in from the Philippines, South Carolina, or La Jolla. We welcome Shabbat with the Psalms of Kabbalat Shabbat. L'chuna Ranena, page 12. Page 20, we welcome the Sabbath bride with L'chadodi. When we get to the 3rd verse, we'll invite everyone to rise and face our entrance as we greet the Sabbath bride.
L'chadodi likat kalai yalalai 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 b'nei Shabbat lekavela Shabbat nekabela lechadodi likakala yalala 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela itoreri itoreri ki ma'orech uri 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 shir daberi kevod Adonai alayich niklat lechadodi likakala yalala 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela lechadodi likakala yalala 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha uvesola toch emuneh am segula boi chala lechadodi likakala yalala 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela lechadodi likakala yalala 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
We remain standing as we turn towards our ark for our call to prayer, Baruch Hu. Page 146.
Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai
Page 147, we read responsively. Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession.
And the years vanish, but your sovereignty endures.
Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. Page 148. In each age we receive and transmit Torah. At each moment we are addressed by the world.
Challenged by our ancient teaching. At each moment we stand face to face with truth.
In each age, we add our wisdom to that which has gone before. At each moment, the knowing heart is filled with wonder.
In each age, the children of Torah become its builders and seek to set the world firm on a foundation of truth.
Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Echad. Please be seated as we join together on page 150 for Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha.
Vehayu hadvarim ha'ele
Asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha vishinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ugzartam leot al yadecha vehayu letotafot beineinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem emet. Page 152, our prayer for redemption, Micha Mocha. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Ya la la ya la la ya la 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 la. העולם לפני משה ומרים. זה עלינו ואמרו, זה עלינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. יא לה לה, יא לה 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 לה, יא לה 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 לה, יא לה 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 לה, יא לה 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 לה. Page 153, Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom vehamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom vehamidenu shomreinu. Hashkivenu shalom Eloheinu leshalom vehamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Shmor tzedekenu Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom vehamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom vehamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom vehamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Veshamru bnei Yisrael et Hashabbat, la'asot et Hashabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Israel,
ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני. את השמיים ואת הארץ
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
On page 155, we will begin our Amidah prayer. Amidah literally means standing. But please know that when we ask you to stand, we ask you to do that in whatever way is physically, emotionally, spiritually possible. If you're able to stand on your own 2 feet, then we invite you to do so. If only your spirit can rise and stay standing, that's okay too. We rise in whatever way we are able together on page 155.
Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Adonai sefatayita Viagni teilateha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai.
Individually and silently through page 167, using the words of our prayer book or the words of our heart. nitzo. The shoni mera Medaber mirma, help me speak.
Help me speak
Without hurting.
without hurting
Those around me.
those around me.
Lim kalilai nafshi. Nafshi tido. V'nafshi ke'afar. Hold my speech.
Hold my speech
With understanding.
with understanding.
Let them see.
Let them see.
Aloha initsu. Lishoni mera. Usvatai. Medaber mirma. We're about to sing two words. Eli, my God, Billy B, in my heart. Take 5 seconds, check in with yourself. Think about which one you need to sing a little more. Do you need to reach outward or inward or both? But for right now, you're gonna have to make a choice. I'm sorry if you're decision averse, but we're gonna make that choice, and we're gonna make beautiful harmony. So if you need to reach out to God, sing with me, Eli. And we'll just hang out on that note together. If you need to look inward, you'll sing with Danny with
Baby B.
No one's gonna judge you for whatever choice you make. Let's sing together. Eli.
Eli B.
Eli.
Eli B.
Eli.
Eli B.
Eli.
Eli B.
As we reach both inward and outward, we recognize that there are those within our community who are in need of healing. This Shabbat, we are especially mindful of Ari Zalman Leib Ben Shoshana Moshe, Bob Behrman, Lauren Berman, Ali Campbell-Foman, Ben Chaib, Shana Chana Bat Pinchas, Veruta Guta Rivka Schindel, Warren Dean, Caleb Dressen, Alec Fertel, Sandy Flaster, Marcia Fram, Larry Friesen, Denise Garrick, Stephen Goldstein, Anita Hosenpud, Hector Islas, Ruth Jordan, Cheryl Kemp, Richard Kitson, Betty Kornreich, David Kroll, Leah Bat Maitav and Nahum, Marshall J. Lewis, Mike Lynn, Isaac Lipton, Jim McIndoe, Lisa Nelson, Sharon Resnick, Ruvain Bat Svia Vyakov, Sharon Ritter, Jay Rosenberg, Galina Rybulchenko, Rosa Santiago, Jenny Schnitzer, Rhonda Schwartz, Bernice Sicklick, Christopher Smith, Robin Streichler, Seth Streichler, Lynn Slotkin, Kathy Weil, Eric Winston, George Wise, Alan J. Wolf, Sandy Wood, Yaakov Yosef Ben Zohara, and Susan Zale. Perhaps there's a name on your heart. If you would like to add a name to our prayers for healing, I invite you to share that name, and it's all right if more names are called at the same time. We join together in our prayer for healing, page 253.
Of spirit, and let
Shabbat Shalom. Rabbi Bernstein will often mention that the student doesn't choose the Torah portion chooses the student. And throughout our history, rabbis, cantors, educators, and other teachers have found meaning in whatever Torah portion happens to land on a particular week. Some weeks, I will admit, it is more challenging than others to find a connection between our tradition's calendar and our lived experience. This Shabbat, however, I found great comfort in the words of our timely tradition, and I hope you will as well. And after this week, the Jewish people could use some comfort. San Carlos del Cerro and Allied Gardens, amongst others, have been littered with anti-Semitic flyers. 2 elected officials and another commissioner resigned from the Human Relations Commission in the wake of an uproar caused after the commissioner commented at a meeting that the Torah teaches Jews and that we, rabbis, teach you to, quote, go kill Palestinians, wipe them out. Spoiler alert, we don't, and you shouldn't. And on Monday, someone cussed out Israel and Jews and ripped the tzitzis off Orthodox Rabbi Aharon Shapiro at a 7-Eleven store in the college area. Although if you haven't read the article on Times of San Diego, I highly encourage you to do so, as it did provide a brief moment of levity. Apparently, before his assailant left, Rabbi Shapiro told him he should, quote, he should find out what an adjective is. He was also very proud of having put in his rewards number into the 7-Eleven because sometimes you can get $1 off your Coke. But enough about Jewish stereotypes. Oh, and by the way, democracy may be crumbling in Israel. This week's Torah portion, Va'etz Hanan, is a Torah portion where we find some of our people's top hits. Moses beseeches the Israelites to maintain the laws of the Torah, the establishment of the cities of refuge, the second iteration of the 10 Commandments, and we also read the watchword of our faith, the Shema and the Ve'ahavta. All very important parts of our tradition, but I found greatest comfort in the words of the Haftarah, which comes from the book of Isaiah. This is a special Haftarah portion read specifically on this Shabbat, known as Shabbat Nachamu, the Shabbat immediately after Tisha B'Av, a day which commemorates, amongst other calamities in our people's history, the destruction of the 2 temples in Jerusalem. The Haftarah answers laments read on Tisha B'Av from the book of Lamentations, where Lamentations says that Jerusalem has none to comfort her, she has no comforter. Isaiah answers, Nachamu, Nachamu Ami, be comforted, my people. Where Lamentations hoped for Jerusalem that the punishment of your iniquity is accomplished and God will no more carry you away into captivity, Isaiah affirms in our Haftarah, bid Jerusalem take heart and proclaim to her that her time of service is accomplished and that her guilt is paid off. As well, the Haftarah in many moments echoes our Torah portion. I want to lift up 2 rabbinic commentators on this verse from Isaiah. Nachamu, Nachamu Ami, be comforted, my people. Ibn Ezra notes that the repetition of the word Nachamu is to indicate that the comfort is to be administered immediately and or repeatedly. Rashi notes that this is a turning point in Isaiah's prophecy, as from here until the end of the book are only words of consolation. This week may have evoked feelings of disconnect. The government of Israel is meant to secure our connection to our literal and spiritual homeland. And while our assessment of the reasonableness of the Knesset's ruling members may be in question, I am comforted by the signs of unity within usually disparate segments of the Israeli community. 5 newspapers, from the left-leaning Haaretz to Israel Hayom, which earned itself the nickname Bibiton, an amalgamation of Benjamin Netanyahu's own nickname and the Hebrew word for newspaper, all printed a full black front cover with the words, "A dark day for Israeli democracy." And from the images shown both on the news and from friends and family in Israel, Israeli citizens are peacefully protesting in order to ensure that democratic values will ultimately win out. Meanwhile, despite the horrific things uttered in the previous Human Relations Commission meetings, and I don't use the word horrific lightly, to be honest, I actually had to stop watching the meeting after 20 minutes because it was so nauseating. Nevertheless, the lead San Diego Jewish community organizations came together and produced a powerful declaration that there is no room for anti-Semitism or hate speech of any kind in San Diego. Each of those leaders deserve recognition and our gratitude, as do those interfaith partners who have reached out and offered support. And while we may have felt disconnected from a broader community at times this week, I hope that each of us can find a moment this Shabbat to feel connected to this community and to each other. The Torah portion this week could not be more timely. When surrounded by disconnect, disappointment, and destruction, may we remember to shema, to listen, ve'ahavta, and to love, nachamu, and to comfort. Shabbat shalom. I'd like to invite Andrew Garman up for some brief announcements from our congregation.
Shabbat shalom. Good evening and welcome to tonight's outdoor Shabbat service. There's a lot going on here. You can find everything you need to know about Beth Israel and upcoming events at our website, cbisd.org. But allow me to highlight these 3 events. Number 1, the dynamic interplay between religion, state, and national identity in Israel. Very timely. This is a 4-parter, Thursdays at 10 o'clock for an hour. The series will explore the emergence of diverse Jewish voices in Israel today and analyze the impact of these changes on the nation's identity and democratic ideals. Number 2, Jewish nationalism in the age of liberal democracy. This Sunday at 10 a.m., this lecture highlights the conceptual differences between the constitutional foundations of Israel and the U.S. and delves into the different understandings and the meaning of nationalism and citizenship of our 2 democracies. And number 3, Musar for Elul. This is on Tuesday, August 22nd, 6:30 p.m. Join us for a transformative journey of self-discovery and spiritual awakening as we delve into the profound teachings of Musar for Elul. Musar is a Jewish tradition dating back to perhaps the 10th or 11th century, a philosophy of ethics that is practiced in modern times, just in case you didn't know. In this 2-session class, we invite all to reflect deeply and embrace the upcoming High Holy Days with a renewed sense of purpose. Rabbi Cantor Arlene Bernstein will guide us through a thought-provoking exploration of our heritage and Jewish tradition. Finally, we invite you to join us in the Activity Center for our Torah study group at 9 a.m. tomorrow, led by Rabbi Richard Agler, followed by our weekly Shabbat minyan service at 10:30 a.m. in the chapel. As the rabbi mentioned, this week's Torah portion is Va'et Hanan in Deuteronomy. It's a powerful one comprised of Moses' eloquent charge to the Israelites on how to behave going forward, as he won't be leading them to the promised land himself. It includes the Shema, instructions for mezuzot, tefillin, and a restatement of the 10 Commandments. And it reminds me of my dear Uncle Moshe. It doesn't remind me of my dear Uncle Moshe. I'll stop there and wish you all Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Andrew. I'm sure everyone will look forward to hearing about your dear Uncle Moshe at the Oneg. We begin to conclude our service by turning to Aleinu L'Shabeach, page 282. I invite you to please rise as you're able. Aleinu L'Shabeach L'Adon HaKol, Lateit Gedula Le'yotzeh Bereshit, Shelo Asanu Kigoyei Ha'aratzot, Velo Samanu Kemishpechot Ha'adama, Shelo Sam Chelkeinu Kahem, Vegor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam, Va'anachnu Koreim Umishtachavim Umodim Lifnei Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'ne'emar V'haya Adonai L'melech al kol haaretz Bayom ha'u Yeh Adonai echad U'shemo echad. Please be seated. As we turn to page 294 and prepare for Kaddish Yatom, our mourner's Kaddish, we acknowledge with sadness the various deaths at different times. If you hear the name of your loved one, we invite you to rise so that we may share in your period of mourning. We acknowledge the recent passing of Frances Dukoff, mother of Phil and Laura Dukoff, grandmother of Brian and Jason, and Christy Zeik, sister of Terry Zeik Thomas. We're in the period of Shiva, the first 7 days following burial for Edith Lang. We're in Shloshim, the first 30 days following burial for Lois Richmond, Natalie Wallen, Ina Rosenthal Yuri, and Elliot Joel Epner. Finally, we think of those who died at the season in years past. Alfred Edelman, James B. Allen II, Fred Anderson, Merwin Oslander, Stanley Beck, Linda Binder, Pearl Block, Hazel Blumberg, William T. Blumberg, Benjamin Brown, Dorothy Brown, Theodore Cantor, Gail Chamberlain, Arnold Christensen, Walter Cohen, Milton Cohen, Ida Cohn, Audrey Coleman, Catherine Cornell, Mark Lewis Ehrman, Martha Evans, William B. Feinberg, Donna Fisher, Manny Fisher, Paul Flaster, Reva Fleischman, Adele Frank, Pearl Friedman, Samuel Friedman, Vesta Fürstenau, Grace Gilbert, Ethel H. Gilman, Rabbi Bernard Benom Goldsmith, Ruth Gold, Samuel Gross, Charles Held, Phil Herman, Yolanda Hirschfeld, Nira Hoffman, Ada Isquith, Sam Klein, Gerald Kobernick, Rosalie Critchman, Patty Lehman, Bertram B. Leopold, Adam Lessman, Louis Levinson, Pauline Clyer Levy, Rebecca Levy, Helene Livingston, Jamie Lirawant, Ruby Lubin, Sheila Merrims, Marcy Merrill, Gabriel Mayer, Rose Mayer, Harry C. Michelson, Anita S. Millman, Marilyn Billy Minsky, Sam Motor, Mary Murowski, Ben Nelson, Rachel Ann North, Sarah Page, Reuben Perlman, Raymond Perlman, Sylvia Ragsdale, Marcella Richmond, Stephanie Robbins, Don Rubin, Toby Rubin, Sandra Rubin, Gregory Sanchez, Svi Shachar, Howard Schudson, Ida Shafton, Abram Sharp, Pearl Horvitz Shine, Robert Bobby Siegel, Greta Silverman, Genevieve Simmons, Bernard Slomovitz, Benjamin Spira, Manny Stein, Joseph Stern, Melvin Udoff, Ida Wax, Francis Weinstein, Daniel Weiser, David Weiss, Alvin Zigman, and Charles Zion. Perhaps you've come to say Kaddish for someone who is not mentioned. I invite you to rise and share that name with the community. Thank you. Thank you. We rise together on page 294 as we recite the words of Kaddish Yatom together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach yurteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayeh d'chol Beth Israel, ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lamei amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shmei d'kudsha b'richu, ve'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aveinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Vimru.
Amen.
May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved among us or wherever they may be, as together we say, Amen. I invite you to place your prayer books down. Grab some comfort by putting your arm around the person next to you or hold their hand as we join together in our closing song, Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru. Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru. La 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 la.
Turn to your neighbor and wish them a Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. As we join together in Motzi, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat Shalom.